Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. In this episode, we're off to Nelson on the Glenelg River reviewing the 2025 TT Glenelg Shire Bream Classic, brought to you by the Vic Bream Classics. This one was held on the 21st and 22nd of June in 2025. One of the things I like about the Vic Bream Classics, they have all the divisions. You've got juniors, you've got Big Bream, you've got Best Bag, you've got the Miller Rogue. So heaps to have a listen to. Anyway, let's roll the intros and we'll get straight into it. Here we go.
Welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. This is where you need to be every Tuesday to find out all the latest tips and tricks to help you target bream on lures. You'll get to hear from some of Australia's elite bream competition anglers and see how they were able to achieve their results in competitions around the country. Now, here's your host, the 2019 Hobie Kayak Fishing World Champion, Andrew Deeth.
Okay, for this one, before we get into it, I just want to remind you that we've got the collective going on, which is the private groups, the subscription group that related to the Bream Fishing Project. This month, we are focusing on grubs. So the idea behind this is we pick a lure or a type of lure and focus on it as a group, come back together and talk about it, chat about it. Yeah, basically just try and dial in how to use that particular lure or particular type of lure. We've got a couple of exciting things coming up in the next couple of months, which even the guys in the collective don't know about. So I can't wait to bring that to them. If that's something you want to do or you just want to support the show, head over to brimfishingproject.supercast.com, get yourself signed up and come join in the fun. All right, this one, what I might do is I'll roll through all the stats and what have you, and then we'll get into all the divisions. All right, so 21st and 22nd of June, we had 47 in the fish activity wheel with a major bite period at 7:03 through to 9:33. Low tide was at 1:04 a.m. at 0.4, high tide at 10:59 a.m. at 0.71. On the Sunday, slightly higher in the fish activity wheel at 59. Major bite periods at 7:58 through to 10:28 with a low tide at 1:48 a.m. at 0.34, running up to a high tide at 11:19 a.m. at 0.84. All right, and there were some cracking bags with this one. The Sunline Best Bag went to Team Sniper Ray and Brandon Dorman, who weighed the Glenelg River Best Bag of 5 out of 5 brim for just over 5 kilos at 5.005 for their 5 fish. The Eco Gear Big Bream went to Team Sniper Brandon and Ray Dorman, who weighed a cracking bag weighing 1.345. The Monster Movers prize went to Team Weedless Matty Curtin and Byron Blaine, who weighed a quality bag on day 2 of 5 fish weighing 3.325, moving them 23 places up the leaderboard to 28th. The Junior Angler Prize went to Jarvis Kent from Team Apollo Bay Fishing Charters, who finished up in 8th place. And the Miller Rogue was a huge perch. This one weighed 1.625 by Team Slow Rollers, Darren Locke and Quentin Can. So there you go. There's all the divisions. Another cracking event with these guys, especially down there, which sometimes can be tough, but there were definitely some big fish. As you can see, if you jump over to vicbrimclassics.com.au, you can see the results all over there, which includes a lot of big fish where people tried to weigh in for Big Bream. So pretty cool. All right, for this one, just the two guests this time. I wasn't able to hook up with Ray and Brandon, unfortunately. Maybe next time. All right, here we go. Okay, so first up in third place, I have Team Blackfin. They dropped their 5 fish for 3.580 on the Saturday, which included a Big Bream of 1.27. And then on the Sunday, they caught their limit again, weighing just over 4 kilos at 4.025, with a Big Bream of 1.175, giving them a total of 7.605 and third place. With me, I have Steve Wheeler. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks very much, Andrew. Thanks for having me.
No worries, no, mate. Thank you for coming on. I was saying before, mate, you've had a nice little weekend down there in a venue that's potentially quite tough.
It can be. Look, this is probably the best result I think we've had at Nelson. It's traditionally been pretty unkind to us as a team, for Owen and myself. I had a little bit of success in an ABT a few years ago there. Might have finished in the top 10, but I certainly haven't been consistent there. It's a very hard place to be consistent, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, the bags this weekend I think were pretty good for out of Nelson. I think it was a good round.
Absolutely. The 5 kilos that the boys weighed on Sunday, that's enormous for Nelson, I feel. So
I know. It's unlucky. This is the first interview of this episode, so I won't say what happened, but it's an interesting story to weigh such a big bag and come so close.
that's for sure. You'll get to it. I know you will. Yeah.
All right. Let's roll around to pre-fishing, mate. Did you or Owen get out there and have a bit of a look around?
Well, yeah, we launched in the middle of the system at a place called Dry Creek. Bill's with the Vic Bream is pretty smart that he lets us launch on comp days and like 3 or 4 different ramps. So, because it's such a long system with speed restrictions, so it just sort of enables blokes to be able to spread out a fair bit more and look for some different ground. So we launched at a place called Dry Creek, which is in the middle of the system, and pretty well started fishing straight at the boat ramp. Look, we caught a couple of smaller fish early on edges. I was throwing a spike 53 in Matt prawn, and that seemed to catch a few fish tight to the edge, like in shallow water. And then we sort of concentrated a bit more on some mud flats. So there's lots of rock walls at Nelson. Then you've got a lot of reeds, and out the front of the reeds, it's traditionally muddy. So we were fishing a reed bank, and we'd probably been doing it for 20 minutes and hadn't got and no bream. There was a lot of perch being caught, but no bream. And Owen said, "This is no good. Let's go." And just as he said that, I sort of, "Hang on, let me just wind in this small jewfish." And because I hooked something and it just screamed off, and I just thought it was like a 50 or 60 centimetre dewy. And it turned out to be a 36 fork brim, which is not that common at Nelson, and very fat and chunky as well. So that sort of made us think, well, I better have a look a bit more at this mud flat and other mud flats, which is plenty of them up in the middle of the system. So, yeah, after that, we managed another couple of nice legals and probably formulated a plan from that.
Yeah, right. Okay. And so your basic plan, so you used hard bodies on edges. Was there anything else? Did you have a plan to target any deeper section, or was it just the edges and mud flats?
Yeah, no, we came off. So when you're on the mud flats, they drop pretty quickly from 1 metre down to 2.5 and then into the sort of the main body of the water in probably 4 metres. So it's not hard to have the boat in a position and cast tight to the reeds, which might be 0.5 metre or 3/4 metre deep. And it's not hard then to cast the other side of the boat and be in 4 metres. So I think we picked up a couple of fish in that 4 metre zone while we were sort of targeting these reeds, and that sort of clued us into that there was, besides the edge, we could catch fish out a little bit wider as well.
Yeah, right. All right. So I guess probably a successful pre-fish. You've caught a kicker and worked out a bit of a plan. So sounds good.
For sure. Yep.
All right. Let's roll into day one. So I've got here, it looks like you launched out of Dry Creek on day one as well.
We did, yeah, which is the same place we'd started from pre-fish, and pretty well with the same plan that we'd sort of found in pre-fish. We'd planned to fish tight with hard bodies and plastics, but it took us like an hour and a half or so, and I don't think we'd caught anything. Hadn't had a bite on the hard body except for a couple of perch. Couldn't get a bite in the plastic. So Owen was going through some different sort of plastic vibes to try and get fish, because there was fish marking, there was fish there. A lot of them were perch, but there was definitely bream mixed in amongst them. So I think we was trying like a combination of, he had a jackal chubby vibe on, and I think he had a metal vibe on, and he started to catch the odd sort of legal out a bit wider. So that sort of focused us a bit more away from the edge, because I couldn't get a bite in the edge, so I just had to go and try something different, you know. Yeah, so then I just joined the party with Owen and started throwing cranker vibe. I had tied on, I had a bivvy vibe tied on, and I managed a couple of upgrades on a big heavy muss, like I think at 4.8 or something gram muss. That put a nice fish in the boat. So in that time, we probably about 9:30, we managed another 36 fork, which was that big fish that weighed 127. And then not long after that, I think we put a 35 fork in. So we had the basis for a really good bag, and we needed to try and get some, like some 32, 33s in with that bag, and it would have been, quite a good bag for Nelson. So.
Absolutely. I mean, it was pretty solid as it was, even in terms of the weekend. It was a good result.
For sure.
So tell me, in terms of the vibes and things, how'd you go on you used a bivvy, and I think you said a jackal. Was there any standouts there?
And a cranker vibe, yeah. Yep. We threw them out to the zone where we were sort of between 2.5 and 4 metres, and just real small little lifts. So the cranker vibe and the bivvy vibe they're not like a metal vibe. You can't feel that instant vibration. I'm sure in there they're giving a bit of a wobble, but they're not heavy enough that you can feel that through your rod, or I can't anyhow. So you're just pretty well just hopping them, that sort of 6 inches, 10 inches off the bottom, and like the just fish are eating them. Like Saturday, the first day, we probably only got, I'd say 9 or 10 legals. So it wasn't like a fish fest. We probably would have caught, if I'm not exaggerating, 40 or 50 perch amongst those 10 legals too. Just the perch were just very thick in the weekend, which is frustrating at a brim comp, but it's always nice to catch a perch as well, So
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say it's good to catch some fish. All right. Well, look, you came back with a decent bag and a good kicker. Did you have Big Bream on day one? Could have been, no.
We did, yeah. Held it for a day or something. We probably knocked some poor young fella off that was, I'd say, his early teens or younger, and he had one just under him. I felt bad that we knocked him off. I looked for him to try and buy him a raspberry, but he'd already left.
Fair enough. It looks like it might have been Bo May.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, with a 1.25, so very close.
Yeah, I felt bad for him.
And I was going to say, with that fish in the well, as Big Bream, you would have been going, I probably might get Big Bream now, like down at Nelson.
Well, yeah, it's to get a 127 at Nelson's a good fish. And this fish was actually it was a 36 forker, but it was just in really good condition. So, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, very cool. Where were you overnight? You're like third or fourth?
Fourth, I think, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Tell us, what was your sort of preparation for and what did you plan to do on the Sunday?
Well, we're just going to duplicate exactly what we did. Fish those mud banks out in that 2.5 to 4 metre zone. Probably traditionally, most comps, I still had a spike tied on. I had those couple of vibes and a muscle tied on. I had a plastic tied on, a slightly heavier jig head. I think I had one on a 12 and one on an 8. And I threw the plastic probably considerably on both days and could not, beside a few perch, I could not get a brim on one. So the vibes, for whatever reason, was what they wanted. So we pretty well just duplicated what we did on day one, fish various mud flats, and we sort of drifted off a mud flat onto a rocky edge. And I think Owen managed a good fish, like a 36 fork or something, reasonably early on Sunday, which sort of gave us a bit of a kick. And we were sort of hoping it was going to weigh the same as the Saturday 36, but it didn't. It was probably another 100, 150 grams less for whatever reason, because he wasn't as healthy. But the difference on the Sunday was we managed to put the rest of our bag was sort of all 33, 32 sort of fish rather than the 3 sort of 29, 30s we had the day before. So it just sort of, we only had one big fish, but the others were pretty solid fish.
Yeah. And was there a pattern on the Sunday in terms of lures and what have you?
We just kept rotating through them. Like I got some on the cranker vibe on Sunday, and the bibby vibe probably put the better fish in as well. And then I think I told you another upgrade on that muss was always worth a throw. Just sometimes they ate the bigger fish. So yeah, which was good. So we didn't know how we were travelling as compared to other teams. It's being the Western Victoria, it probably didn't get light there till, if I said 7:30, 7:35, I probably wouldn't be exaggerating. So it was you're on your own for a fair bit. In darkness, we're fishing for at least half an hour. So that was a bit of an interesting thing about Nelson. So yeah.
Yeah, wow. I did not know that. In terms of the weekend, did you drop any fish that you think would have made a difference?
Potentially, yes. Well, I think we had a couple on that I didn't have them on for long. Like they were on, and 5 seconds later they were off. So they might have just been chin hooked or something. That happens a fair bit with the vibe, but no break offs or anything. Like Owen and I run a little bit heavier leader than most people. Like heavier as in poundage, but not heavier as in diameter. So we run 6 pound pretty well exclusively on open areas, and we'll run 8 on structure. But we always try and find a quality leader. So I think the 6 pound we're running its only diameter is like 0.17. So it's probably the same diameter as most 4 pound fluorocarbon anyhow. So it's just a little thing we've always done. Brands like I'm not a sponsored angler, but brands like Cigar is it? Cigar Gold, they make a 6 pound leader that's probably 0.18, 0.17, which is pretty thin for 6 pound, but it's quite strong as well. So we don't often get broken off unless we're unlucky, but you always just drop fish, unfortunately, with that don't hook up properly,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's an interesting take on the leaders. I know that there is variance between the brands on diameters and breaking strain. So yeah, it's quite interesting to hear.
Yeah. I used to be a real unit seeker Eiger fan, but you can't get it anymore, unfortunately. That same thing, it's very thin for its diameter, for its poundage, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was not aware of that one. I don't remember hearing about it. So very good. All right, mate. Well, look, it was a good enough bag to bring you back. You were only sort of 300 or 380 grams or so, or 390 grams of second place, but and first place, I guess. Definitely within striking distance.
Definitely, yeah, for sure. We just both knew at the end of the day that we didn't realise we had 4 kilos on day 2. We knew it was healthy, probably similar to what we had the day before. But yeah, just that one more kicker that either day would have made the difference. Look, it's not easy to get a kilo fish at Nelson, but that just we were hoping pretty hard to get that one extra one come the last couple of hours, but it just didn't happen, you know. So, but yeah, 300 grams off the lead, that's not too bad. We're close enough to be in striking distance.
Yeah, exactly. And it's still in the money, which is pretty good going.
Very handy. Yep, it's always pays for the trip, so for sure.
Very good. All right. Tell me, as a team, what did you guys get to take home for third place?
We shared 1,500 cash between us, which is pretty handy. So, yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Mate, last thing before we shoot off, is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Look, I'm wrapped that Bill runs the tournaments like he does. It's a pretty good environment. Like I say, I've been doing them a long time now, and I appreciate the effort that goes into it, the different venues. Look, I probably have to thank Owen for taking me on board this year or last year. We've had a good couple of years, really. Enjoy his company, and the other boys, Damien McGlynn and Adam Arbo, that we stay with every comp. We always have a good time with those blokes, plenty of laughs and encouraging each other to do better than the other team, which is good. So, yeah.
Yeah, and those boys did all right as well. They had a pretty good round.
They're very consistent anglers, those fellas, yeah.
Very good, mate. All right. That is awesome, mate. Look, congratulations again. Thanks for coming on, and I'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks very much, Andrew. Speak to you soon. Bye.
Thanks, mate. Okay, so coming in first place, we have team Nomad BKK. They dropped their 5 fish on the Saturday for 3.980, which included a Big Bream of 1.145. Backed it up with an even bigger bag on the Sunday of 5 fish for 4.015, giving them a total of 10 fish for 7.995. Equal weight with Team 2, but based on their first day bag, they ended up in first place. With me, I have Peter Bouquet Jr. Welcome back to the show, mate.
Thanks, mate. How's it going, Deethy?
Mate, it's really good. And look, we did hit, just before we hit record, you guys were in second in this round last year, which was pretty good as well.
Yep. No, it was a very close finish last time. So I thought this time hopefully we'd get our revenge. But yeah, we ended up getting the job done. So we're stoked.
You did. I mean, literally by the skin of your teeth, I reckon.
Oh, even worse than the skin of the teeth. Yeah, when we were doing the maths, I couldn't believe it that we were exactly the same weight to the third decimal point. So to come on top, just over ecstatic, yeah.
Yeah. I had to text Bill to find out how they did it. I couldn't work out how they did it on countback, but it was biggest bag or highest position on day one wins.
Yeah, that's what we found out as well from a couple of the boys that have been doing the Vic Brims for a couple of years. Yeah, they told a couple of my mates and they told me that's how it's going to go. So I was stoked.
Yeah, that's pretty good going. All right, let's get around to pre-fishing, mate. Did you get down there at all, or did you pre-fish the Friday leading into the comp?
Yeah, so we did get to pre-fish. We actually launched a little bit early on the pre-fish at about 6 a.m. and it doesn't get light until about 7:20 a.m. So we're basically just sitting in the dark for over an hour, watching schools of fish cruise on the active target.
Right.
Yeah, couldn't see what we were doing, just watching the screen basically.
Okay.
It was pretty cool to see how active the river was. And yeah, we couldn't do too much until we had enough light to see where we were casting.
Yeah, okay. And your active target, is that the current one? Is that AT2?
Nah, it's still AT1. So just running the OG first one still. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, they've updated a lot of stuff. So all that stuff is pretty cool now.
Absolutely. I've seen with the updates it has got clearer, and yeah, just the feedback, just it's not glitching as much, and it just feels, very close comparison to Active 2, which is good.
Absolutely. All right. Once the sun came out, how'd you go? Did you get a few on pre-fish?
Yeah, so once we got going, we kicked things off in the first ski zone at the front of the system. We're working just like the typical edges that the Glenelg River has, which is shallow banks it drops off to about 3 or 4 meters with a mix of overhanging trees and rocky stuff. Straight away, I think we started marking fish sitting just off the edge in deeper water. the water was a lot colder, so we did figure that they would be in deeper water. We picked up a few smaller fish pretty early, about 500 to 600 grams,
Okay.
mostly on a prototype soft plastic from Nomad that should be out soon. And my dad was throwing a ZX35 vibe in black with the assist hooks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no monsters, but it gave us a bit of confidence that there were fish around and feeding.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was, I think, the first hour and a half or two. And then I think 9 a.m. we changed it up and started fishing some structure, mainly the shacks and poles that is towards the front of the system of Nelson. We got a couple of nice ones real quick. I think 600 to 800 grams they were. But yeah, these were both tied to the structure on the prototype plastics again, just on a 1/16th hidden jig head.
Okay.
These bites came relatively quickly, so we decided, yeah, let's pull the pin on this and leave it for the comp.
Yeah.
So the front was fishing quite well for what we expected.
It's funny, as you spoke there, you answered all my questions before I asked them. I was like, I was going to ask, were they tight to the structure? And you said, yeah, they were.
Yeah, so our strength is definitely fishing structure. So we typically hit those areas during the pre-fishes just to see if the fish are sitting up in the water columns or down deep amongst it.
Mm.
Yeah, we found them pretty much mid-water to the bottom type thing. Yeah.
Okay. And what was the tidal flow down there like?
It was a high tide, I think, mid-morning, but the tides are a bit different there. It wasn't very high.
Like 700 mil, more or less.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, but the high tides grew over the 3 days. So let's just say a small high tide on the pre-fish, mid high tide on the first day, and then a really high tide on the second day. So that's how that worked.
Fair enough. All right. So then coming into competition day for the Saturday, what'd you have tied on? I assume you had your prototype on for sure.
Yeah, still had the prototype tied on. We had the vibes still tied on, and a couple cranker crabs in olive and black. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So pretty much staples for down that way, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool. All right. You end up getting a cracking bag on day one. Tell us about how that went.
Yeah, so day one actually went really well. We launched from the main ramp, and I think we're like 19th boat off the start. Our plan was to kick off on some structure, which was the shacks and poles that we hit during pre-fish. Within the first hour, we had two really solid bream in the well, both around the 700 gram mark.
Nice.
I got one and Dad got the other, so we're really happy with that. They came in really close to the structure, and as the plastics hit the bottom, we basically did like a small pause and a slight hop, and the fish were onto it,
Yeah, nice.
which was good.
This was the new prototype.
Yeah. Still on the prototype.
And are you able to tell us what sort of colour you were fishing?
It was like a natural colour, kind of a brown on the back with a little bit of orange. Yeah, that's about what I can give.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It gives us an idea without saying too much.
Yep. But it should be out in the next couple of months, so you should be able to get your eyes on them. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. All right. So you got a couple in the well early, one each, which is cool.
Yep.
And what you do after that?
Yeah, so we stuck it out on the structure for another like 45 minutes, but only a couple more undersized bream came in the boat. We decided to move to Taylor Strait, which is in the first ski zone in the Glenelg River. First cast on a bank, we've done well in previous comp. I got a 750 grammer on a cranker crab in olive.
Nice.
Just fishing 3 pounds straight through, which was cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, basically just crawled it slowly off the first undercut bank and then felt it drop off. It's almost like a second ledge into the deeper water. And yeah, this fish smoked it. So that was cool.
Yeah, okay. It's always exciting fishing 3 pound, especially with a $20 or $25 crab on it.
Yeah, I haven't been fishing 3 pound for that long and I have lost a few lures, but just I find it's really effective. The fish don't they don't fight as hard on straight through. And I feel like you can still feel all the bites and the ticks when your lure's hitting the right zone. So, yeah, I find it really effective, which is good.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. How'd you carry on from then?
Yeah, so after that, we picked through a few more smaller fish on vibes, but yeah, nothing to throw in the bag. So we made the call to head up to Donovan's and fish the same areas where we basically had like a mid-morning bite during pre-fish.
Sure.
We dropped the electric in. There's a 4 knot zone there, which is close to Donovan's. And I think it was about 10:30 by this stage. And we were rotating between the plastics and cone crab. And my old man actually spotted a decent school of fish on the side scan. So we spot locked just off them and started casting away just to see what they were.
Mm.
We found a mix of EPs and brim, but yeah, I think we got about 10 EPs, and then we finally got a really nice bite. It was
Right.
it was a proper kicker brim just sitting under the school of perch.
Nice.
Yeah, it hit a heavier weighted plastic, and I think a 1/12 this time, and this fish inhaled it all the way down. Yeah, ended up going 1.145, which was our kicker for day one.
Yeah. So that was the one that anchored the bag, which was nice.
Yeah, anchored the bag, and I was stoked because we hadn't got that caliber in the pre-fish. So to get that in the comp days, yeah, really well, really good.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, that fish pretty much changed our whole day. And that point, I think we had 4 brim, 3.3 kilos.
Mm.
Yeah, we just needed that final fish to round off the bag, which we were grinding out. What happened then? Yeah, so I think we stuck around there and got a few more perch. But then I think with about an hour and a half left, we made the call to head back to the mouth and give the structure one last go to fill our bag.
Oh, yeah. Back down river.
Yeah, because it was a very patchy bite and it wasn't super consistent. Like the fish were coming here and there. We didn't have exact spots where they were schooled up in type thing.
Mm.
But yeah, we persisted in like similar spots to the morning on the structure with no bites at all. And I thought, yeah, it's probably been pressured by, at least half the field because there's like 51 boats in the comp.
Yeah. It's a decent field for that place.
Yeah, so we moved out of there pretty quickly and we went to the very mouth of the system just past the channel markers. And yeah, 3 casts in, my old man hailed Mary to cast out in the open and booked our 5th and final brim, which we were stoked to get.
Yeah.
This one went, I think, 650 grams. And yeah,
Right.
fell to the black vibe just with the assist hooks again. Yeah, because there's a lot of weed there. So we found the vibe wasn't catching the weed as much. It was pushing through. Yeah, my dad managed to get that one. So yeah, we were stoked to round off the
I was going to say, good team effort. And it sounds like you had, I think, biggest bag for the day.
Yeah.
But did you just get the 5 fish?
We did get a few smaller ones, but not legal. So they were just under legal. So yeah, I don't think we upgraded day one any of our fish, which, yeah, so the system was fishing tough. So
Yeah, which from what I'm told, it does.
yeah, especially in winter. So
Definitely. All right. Well, I guess apart from your dad maybe been a bit under the weather, you guys would have been feeling pretty good about Saturday.
yeah, look, once we weighed in and held position of first, yeah, my dad was like, wow, I can't believe we're in first position after day one. And I said, yeah, let's just try relax, try have a couple beers tonight and then just wake up in the morning, see how we go.
That's it. And it's an interesting a thought that I had while you were talking as you decided to go out on the Sunday and see if you could catch the absolute minimum bag you could to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, very good. All right. I was just joking. Tell me how it went because obviously you caught some good fish again.
Yeah. So day 2, we're definitely feeling the pressure after leading. I was pretty quiet that morning and I just said to my dad, like, let's just keep it simple and fish the same way and did one and basically hope for the best. So, yeah, we launched in first place, which was a bit daunting. Started in the exact same spot as day 1, which was the structure near the start line.
Mm.
But this time there was a few more boats around us, so I wasn't as confident, but we were still hopeful and we just had to fish smart and fish areas that people haven't touched or hasn't seen much pressure. So, yeah, right away we felt the bite was completely different to the day before and the fish they just weren't committing as hard.
Okay.
We missed a few fish early and it definitely wasn't the start we were chasing. Then I think about an hour in, we came across a pole and this is where pretty much everything changed. We saw it was like a patch of foam swirling around the pole. So I don't know if it was like a little eddy
Okay.
It looked really fishy. I pitched a cast right into the middle of it with the plastic and hooked up pretty much immediately and pulled out a 39 centimetre bream, about 850 grams.
Wow. That was a good observation.
Yeah, so that really, really got us up and going because the bite was sketchy for the first couple of hours. So pulling that 850 in, I was like, okay, now we've got to start. So
Good start.
let's just build on from here.
Definitely. Especially one of the tough things is like you've had a cracking day on day one, coming in first place, but you've only got your 5 fish or 6 or whatever it ended up being.
Yeah.
Hard to be confident.
Yeah, we came into this comp not very confident because it was winter and we knew the fish would be deeper and it'd be a harder bite. So just sticking the bites when they came, like we were very happy with. So yeah,
100%.
I think a bit of luck came onto this comp. So a bit of luck and putting ourselves in the right place at the right time, yeah, it came into effect. So
Oh, cool. Cool. All right. Moving on.
yeah, so that story hasn't finished. So I basically gave that fish to my dad and told him, "You sort it out." I cast it in the exact same spot and pretty much got a bite instantly again.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 750 grammer. So
Wow.
yeah, exact same spot. My dad's like, "You got to be kidding! I haven't even dealt with this fish, and now I've got a net. The next one." So
Yep. It's fantastic.
yeah, that got in, and that got us 2 in short time. So basically, did exact same and gave that fish to my dad and said, weigh it, put it in the live well, and I'll keep fishing. So yeah, we were pretty much spot locked at this stage, and I was like to my dad, "I'm going to cast in the exact same spot, and let's see if there's a third in there." And sure enough, tick, and got the third one out of there, which was another 700 grammer. So
Wow.
yeah, that was within a couple minutes. So we couldn't believe the bite window opened, and we managed to convert all of those 3. So yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. It's amazing how your day can turn around. Like you can go from nothing to 3 fish in a couple of minutes, 5-10 minutes or whatever it is.
Oh, absolutely. Like, because we missed the first couple bites in the first hour or so, when those 3 stuck, I was like, this is now a dream start. So let's get these 2 other fish and, yeah, finish the bag off.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Very good. And that was all in your prototype.
Yeah, correct. But this time I felt like day 2 would be a lot tougher. So we're running a couple stingers on the back just to give us a little bit of extra, if the fish don't commit as hard, they can still potentially get stung.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we did find that the stinger hooks were getting stuck in the side of their gills or somewhere to help get them in. So
Yeah, cool.
yeah, it was handy.
Cool. All right. You got 3 in the well. What time is it?
Oh, what time was that? That would have been a couple hours in. So it's maybe 9:30, 10, I reckon.
Yeah, okay. So time to go, but you still want to be getting them.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, we kept working that area a little bit longer, and yeah, the bite window pretty much shut off completely. So we persisted in there for a little while longer and then decided to move back into that first ski zone where we got a couple on pre-fish and day 1.
All right. And is that up to, and I don't know the area, obviously, is that up towards Donovan's or just somewhere between Nelson and Donovan's?
Nah, so it's not all the way up to Donovan. So there's like a first ski zone, and then I think there's an 8-knot zone, 4-knot zone, then Donovan's. So it's quite a while up to get to Donovan's. But yeah, that first ski zone is like the first couple kilometers near the front kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know Nelson that well. I've only been there like maybe 3 or 4 times, so still trying to work it out.
Yeah. All right. So how did it play? Did you find some fish there?
Yeah, so we ended up getting a couple small EPs, but no real sign of much action. We then hit a similar wall to day 1, and as I was working a plastic off the edge, hooked a solid brim that tried busting me off under the ledge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, managed to keep it out and land it. It was a 750 grammer again.
Wow, so you got good fish.
Yeah, so the fish, it was quality when we got the bites, but yeah, that's what we were stoked about, just getting quality over quantity. We kept casting along that same bank and picked up, I think it was 1 more bream, but it was only 29.5 centimetres, so just over the legal length that you could enter in the comp, basically. So I was like, my dad, like, this one's got to go if we want to place or do well in this competition. So yeah, kept grinding, and I think by the time we got I think it was around 11 o'clock by this stage. And we pretty much felt like we'd covered all those key areas in that ski zone.
Yeah.
So then we pushed up to Donovan's and started working some of the structure up there. There's a nice mix of like overhanging trees, rock, and some broken, almost like pylons and stuff up there that I don't know if the shacks have been hit by weather and fallen into the water and stuff like that. Yeah. So we mainly fished a bit of that up there. Yeah, fished a few ledges with like submerged trees, but didn't get any bites. And then we came across a rock that had because it was getting to the middle of the day, there was like a shadow line on the deeper side of some of the rocks. So I've had good success casting into shadow lines where the bream, I feel like, are just sitting in them and waiting for prey to go past. So yeah, managed to get another good bite, and this was on the cranker crab this time in black.
Okay, back on the 3 pound?
Yeah, back on 3 pound again. And yeah, had to back the drag right off because we thought, mate, this is the fifth and final fish. We need to get this thing in. So yeah, got it in after a little fight. Its head was basically shaking the whole way. And yeah, got that in the net. And I was like to my dad, yep, get that 29.5 centimetres out. This is the upgrade we need. So that was our 5.
That was your day?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was our day again.
Wow. But you ended up, like we said, just slightly better than, almost the same, but slightly better than day one. And I said tongue in cheek, kind of absolute minimum you could catch to win.
We absolutely pushed the minimum you could get, and mate, just scraping through for the win. Still can't believe it.
Yeah, it's a cool story. All right, what I liked about it, that you've heard me speak before, no doubt. I do like the father and son teams. I reckon it's a great way to go and fish a comp if you can.
Absolutely. Yeah, my dad's getting a bit older, so getting a win under his belt as well, it's really special. And I couldn't think of a better person to spend it with. So, yeah, stoked to get a win.
How good is that?
Yeah.
How good is that? And especially, you got over 50 boats.
Yep.
It's a very cool win in what is sometimes a very tough fishery.
Yeah, absolutely. No, very good achievement. So, yeah.
Very cool. All right. When you went fishing your 3 pound, what sort of lines and leaders were you running?
So I generally run 6 pound braid, but for this comp it was about 3 or 4 pound leaders I was running.
Okay, so still light.
Yeah, because the bites were so like patchy, we decided to drop real light so we could at least get the bites, and then just if we do manage to stick them well, just get them in. So it was a lot of luck involved to sting everyone and get them in. So
yeah, makes it interesting.
Oh yeah, very thankful. Yeah, especially the 3 pound fluorocarbon. Like still getting used to that gear. So
yeah, well, I think it's a fun way to fish, and sometimes very, very fruitful.
Yeah, even though you can't see it as good as braid, I still think it's very effective, and the fish seem to not fight as hard. So
yeah,
I do like that.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes, like you describe one of your fish, they do just shake their head on the way out, which if you've got a big fish, I think that's the best thing that can happen.
Yeah.
It just shakes its head all the way up.
I find longer rods, softer rods, and the combination with the fluorocarbon, I feel like the fish can come shaking a lot more often. So
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What type of rods are you running?
So I run a couple of the Nomad C-Core rods. There's 7'2" rod, 2 to 8 pound. So yeah, softer tip allows for those fish to shake their head and not really pull the hooks. So
yeah.
Oh,
very cool. All right, mate. I reckon that's a very good account of the fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us, what did you get to take home for first place?
Yeah, so I've got the check right next to me, $3,750 we managed to get, which is very handy, and just paying for we might upgrade the boat down the track, so might even put that towards that or upgrade a bit of the gear. So yeah, it's real good.
That is very, very good. All right, mate, last thing before we shoot off, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Yeah, so I want to say thanks to my dad for doing the competition with me. He fished the way he can fish and put his most effort into it. So very thankful for that. Even though he didn't contribute a lot of fish to the bags, he did contribute a few key ones, which was good in a tough comp. I'd like to thank Bill for running the Vic Bream Classics. We've been doing it for just a couple of years now, and everyone's very welcoming, and the sponsors involved are fantastic, like the prize packs and the checks that we take away if we do place in the top 10 are, they're very good.
Mm.
I'd like to thank Nomad and BKK for jumping on board with me, just supplying some gear that I use throughout the comps and my social fishing. So that's very handy as well. And I'd like to thank you, Andrew, for running a great interview and a great podcast. I do listen to it a lot at work, as I drive a machine a lot. So listening to your podcast, it really gets the time passed, and learn a lot of information from it. So,
Oh, mate, we appreciate you coming on. And, mate, I will be waiting with bated breath to find out what this plastic is that did so well for you from Nomad, I think.
Yeah, it should be out hopefully after. So, we shall see.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, mate. Well, look, congratulations to both of you. Thanks for coming on again.
No worries.
Yeah, hopefully we get to have another chat.
Yeah, hopefully in the future. Hopefully in, very near future.
Perfect, mate. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Cheers, mate.
Okay, so there you have it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. Can't wait to bring you the next one too from Marlo. So this is going to be a great episode. I really enjoyed recording that. So that's a good one to look out for. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you next week on the Bream Fishing Project.
Thanks for listening. Hopefully you were informed, inspired and entertained. If you were able to learn something or just enjoyed listening, please consider subscribing and rate us on your favourite podcasting platform.